Hello everybody and welcome to Quick 5. I'm your host Shay.
And I'm your host Jalal. And today on the Quick 5, we're talking about what, Shay?
Why is it so hard to date after age 30? Welcome to Quick 5. I'm your host Shay.
And I'm your host Jalal. And today on the Quick 5, we're talking about what, Shay?
Why is it so hard to date after age 30?
Dating after 30. All right. Let's start the timer. Shay, why is it so hard?
Well, if I was 30, then I would say...
What would you say if you were hypothetically 30?
Hypothetically, of course. If I was 30, I would say that it's probably hard because when you're in your 20s, I feel like you're a lot more fearless when it comes to dating. I think you can get your heart broken and jump back out there, get your heart broken and jump back out there, especially when you're figuring out who you are, what you want, what you don't want. There's no real seriousness to it. I think over time, as you get older and you approach 30 or 30 and plus, 30 and beyond, then I think time is important to you. You've learned enough about what you don't want, even if you're still learning what you do want. I believe that you just feel like you don't have time to waste. I think also that some people have collected children along the way, so now you have to be an example, to your children, and you have to think a little bit more smarter when it comes to dating. I think also too that you don't have space for liabilities, whether that's yourself or someone else included. You don't have the room to be a liability or to date one. I also think that it can be hard too because we build up walls once you have so many heartbreaks or just failed relationships, and also too mentality and mindset, because if you have a repeat of something, then sometimes maybe you can go into something kind of already feeling like, okay, this might be X, Y, and Z, therefore maybe manifesting those things in a relationship. So I feel like there's a lot of reasons why it can be really hard to date after 30. In maturity, you're just mature. So the things that you're willing to accept are just completely different when you do start to, mature in age a little bit. So as a female, at least, what do you think?
I think that's interesting as far as what you just said. A lot of it comes down to the amount of baggage one carries and how they deal with the baggage one carries. So if you're one that comes with or seem to be attracted to people who have a lot of baggage, who haven't really taken the time to deal with it or even admit that they need to deal with it, that would make it, hard to find suitable mates. And then I do agree with you as far as like what you said about the kids. Like that's a thing too, because now it's not just you had a failed relationship with the mother or the father. Then you got to take into account, well, if I'm with this person, how's that interaction gonna go between them two? Am I gonna have to butt heads with this third party? Like, what is that gonna be like? Is this kid gonna respect the fact that I'm in this? You have a whole lot of new things to worry about in these dating situations than you would have had like early in your 20s when you didn't have any kids. And another point you mentioned too is rejection. People not wanting to put themselves out there because they're scared of rejection. But I think that's one of those places where we need to say, well, yes, you're older, but if you weren't scared of rejection in your 20s, you probably shouldn't be scared of rejection in your 30s. You lived through it. Like
you
made it to your 30s and you were rejected. So I think that's just one of the stories that we tell ourselves, so we don't have to go put ourselves out there. And there's just a lot of pearl, like you said, there's a lot of, worrying about, I'm getting older, and priorities do change.
Yeah, and I think also expectations change. I think society has a way of putting pressure on you of you should have had this and accomplished this, and you should be there by this age. And so I feel like for oneself, our expectations become a lot harder. So therefore now we're like, oh, he got to be making 6 figures. He got to be, you know, and we miss out on a lot of good people when we try to live by societal expectations. When we don't take the time to really figure out what is it that would work for me. What kind of relationship do I really want, desire, or need to be successful, you know, together, and then also independent of my partner. And so I think that that is something to take a look at as well, is just changed expectations.
Yeah.
And what does that mean going forward?
Right, and that's definitely a different thing, because you shouldn't necessarily want the same thing that you wanted in your 20s and your 30s. If you're, you know, you've been experiencing and growing throughout your life, that's definitely going to look different. This is Jalal.
I'm Shay.
And thank you for tuning in to the Quick 5. See you next time.